What is up, fellow developers? My name is Tyler Potts, and in this video we'll be creating a game, and it's going to go over a few different episodes or parts, because I want to make it actually really fun and a fun kind of game and teach you quite a few different concepts. The first concept we're going to go through is basically just setting up all the functions and everything on this game. So we're going to be building what you see in front of you right now. So this game is actually a coder game, and how you play this game is you type like you're coding. You just literally type as you're typing. So it's basically like a speed typing game. As fast as you can type, the more bytes you get, which bytes basically encoding what you write, words which equivalent to bytes in computer. So that's kind of the currency. And then you can buy upgrades. I'm going to buy an intern who will then make me some bytes every so often. And as you can see, once we get down to a certain amount of bytes, our level goes up, and you have to then get even more bytes. And then you purchase, let's say, more interns, and then once you're at level 1, you can also then get a junior developer. This is only what we've got so far, but if I click junior developer when I don't have enough, it says you need more bytes. That's cool. So let's just keep going, bam. So now we can buy junior developer, which makes us go up even faster. So that was very quick talking, but yeah, this game doesn't look pretty right now, but we are going to do more prettiness in the future. So in this video, we're just going to focus on getting it all set up. In the video after this, we're going to be setting up saves and game saves and stuff like that, and probably some more styling. So we're going to do a bit of styling at every single episode, so it will slowly get prettier and prettier. We might do 3 or 4 episodes of this, I think, just depend on how much more content we can actually fit in and how much stuff. I'm going to make this open source as well, because I want to make this game available to everybody. I want to make this game available to everyone to add their own features in and stuff like that. It'll be a pull request system, so you'll make a pull request, you'll do your changes, what you think will be great. You'll send a pull request and I'll review them to make sure they look great. If they are great, then we'll add it, and then I will host this on my server on maybe a custom domain or something. I don't know, we'll see what happens. We'll host this, and then everyone you'll have to contribute us in the bottom and that who made the game, and it'll be pretty fun. I think it'll be a really cool community game we can actually do together. So if you think that sounds fun, then stick around, let's get started. So first thing we're going to do is move this to the side, because that's not cool. I'm going to CD out of this, and I'm actually going to CD out of my YouTube projects as well. I'm actually going to create a new folder called the Coder game. The Coder game. We can decide a name later. For now, it's going to be Coder game. So we're going to CD into the Coder game, and I'm going to say I'm just going to say code dot, and we're going to open this up in VS Code and start right away. So I'm just going to quickly refresh this page, because that's going to basically throw an error because I've stopped the server now. And let's actually set this up over here. Let's remove the console log. We'll probably attach it to the bottom actually. Yeah, that's about wide enough. Actually reopen that and attach that to the bottom, just so we have the console ready. Nice. Now in here, in our file structure, we're going to need a few elements. We're going to start off with HTML. In the HTML, we're going to have the boilerplate stuff. And in here, we're just going to say, probably create a Coder game. And then we're going to link it up. But first, let's actually just write in here, hello world. Do that, and then I'm going to press Control Alt T, and it's going to open up my integrated terminal. In my integrated terminal, I'm going to run a command called live surfer. This is a npm package. You can to install this, you can say npm -i-g live surfer, and now install it. Then you just run the live surfer command, and it'll run your live surfer that updates as you type. So if we would say hello world by world, hit save, you can see it updates automatically on the right, which is great. We don't have to refresh the page. So everything's looking about right. Now, because this is a game I really want to build, and I'm going to put it on my own server, we're going to be following some processes. The main process is mainly the CSS process, and probably the game files and stuff like that. But to start with, we're going to start off with an assets folder. Inside the assets folder, we're going to have a SASS folder, because we are going to be using SASS. And inside the assets folder, again, we're going to have a JS folder. Now, Okay, why is that? It's like gone into the wrong folders. JS goes in there. There we go, that's better. Now in our SASS folder, we're gonna have a main.sass, but we're actually gonna break these down into a new sort of way I've learned how to order or store my SASS files, and it's called the inverted triangle CSS. So it's called ITCSS. You should Google it. It's actually really cool, and basically there's a certain way you store your stuff. So that's how I'm going to write my code now. So I'm going to do it the very slimline way, because I don't think there's going to be much styling to this game after a certain point. So I'm not going to add folders and stuff, subfolders. I'm just going to start with the root folder. So the first one is settings.sass, and that's where all your variables will be, and any settings you want to set. We're then going to have another one called elements, and these are kind of like your base elements, like H1s, H2s, A's, and this will be your resets as well, basically. We're going to do another file, and this file is going to be called components.sass, and we're going to hit enter in that. And what components is all our app components. So we're going to split this up into like component base. Although it's plain JavaScript, we're not using React. We're just going to be using a component mindset when we're building elements, if that makes sense. So in main, we now need just to import settings. Settings needs to go first. We then want to import elements, and finally we're going to import components. And that is the 3 sections we need. We'll probably be adding more in the future, like tools and stuff. If you know what ITCSS is, it basically allows you to keep things in order. So you don't have any issues with any sort of something's rendering wrong, or because something's CSS is overwriting other CSS. That's kind of the aim for this. So in here we're going to have some colors, and for now I'm actually just going to set up dark. No, actually I am going to set primary, and that is going to be probably a 2244, maybe 64 C4. Wrong way round. That should be 8-4. No, that should be C4. That should be 8-4. Something like that. Maybe an A, not C. A. Yes, that's better. We're then going to have a dark, which is just going to be 222, 222, and a light, which I'm going to choose EEE. And as I said, this is going to be open source. So if anybody wants to get involved and maybe even think about a better styling, then feel free to have a crack at it. I'm not going to stop you, but don't be upset if I don't accept your pull request, because I'm only accepting obviously ones I feel work with what I'm doing. So that's cool. So in elements, we're actually going to do some resets. So elements kind of doubles up as a resets area where you can reset all your stuff. So we're going to wait. What am I doing? Box sizing, border box. I'm then going to give the body the font family of the fonts, and then I'm going to say in here also probably button. This is the main one we're going to be using today. Button, appearance none, border none, outline none. Oh, none. Border none, outline none, no, we've done appearance, background none. That's fine for now, the resets, that's cool. That's cool. We're going to remove that, and then we're just going to run down here, watch SASS. Now this is built into my VS Code, and I've set it all up. I suggest you guys look into SASS if you don't know how to use SASS. This is just my own setup, and it creates a SASS file or a CSS file that is minified, as you can see. And that's kind of how I'm going about things. So in our index, let's get this CSS file. So we're going to say, that's a really annoying one. It auto pre-fills, so that's my bad. Assets, CSS main.css. I'm actually just going to make it relative to the root. And then we're going to get a script source, which is going to be assets/js, and then it's going to be main.js. I haven't actually set it up yet. So in our JS, let's create a file. We're going to call it main.js. And in here, we're just going to write nothing, yeah? We need to do our markup. So the first part of the markup is going to be, I'm going to have a game tag in here, and then a main tag. Actually, the main tag probably can be the game tag. So we'll have the main. Inside the main, we're going to have a couple of sections, or a few sections. The first section, I'm just adding this now, but this coder wrap, I want to do some fancy, like as you're typing when you code, I want it to like do some sort of visual coding sort of thing, but I'm not sure what to do there yet. So as you type, I want it to like show some maybe keys or something up here, just like randomly showing up as you type, which I think will be really cool. But for now, we won't actually do that. We're going to have another section which is called C currency, and I'm going to be prefixing anything I'm going to turn into a component with a C at the front. So we've got the currency, which is going to basically have our bytes per second, and our level. So actually, maybe this should be stats, not stats, overview. C overview, that's good. We're then going to have, so our bytes. Inside our bytes, we're going to have a span with the ID of bytes, and that is because we're going to have it set to 0, but we're also going to put B behind it, so it has. So we're going to import our value there, but we also want it to be prefixed with B. Maybe we can do them as we add it. So maybe actually this can go onto this. Again, guys, this is open to however you guys want to do this as well. So if you guys have a good idea, make sure you get involved. So this next one is going to be the BPS. And the BPS is obviously the bytes per second. This one's going to be bytes. So that's our current bytes, how many bytes we actually have. And this is our bytes per second, so how many bytes we're actually earning from upgrades per second. Finally, we're just going to have the level. And the level is just going to say level is equal to 0 for now. We probably don't need a class on here, although we probably will add it later on again. And then finally, we're going to have C upgrades, and in C upgrades, we're going to have a H2 that says upgrades, and then we're going to have an ID called of just upgrades, which is just a div where we're going to add all our upgrades. I'm really sorry about that. I just elbowed my mic, and I know I'm going to forget to take that out. Just full on McGregor elbowed it. Okay, so cool. So the rest of this app is now going to be built in via JavaScript right now. We might add some more elements to this later on, but not in today's video. So in our JavaScript file, we're going to start off by creating a save file. Now this save file is going to grow really quickly, so it might be worth creating a new file for it. But for now, we're going to do it all in main, and we'll think about modularity in the future. So for now, we're going to set up bytes. So we have our bytes. We're going to have total bytes as well. So as a part of the stats, you can have your bytes, what you currently have. Because you can spend your bytes, you actually don't know how many you've actually earned in total. So we're going to have total bytes, which we can use, which we're going to actually use as like experience as well for our leveling system. So we're going to have Powerups. And in Powerups, well, we're not actually going to talk about Powerups yet, so I'm just going to leave that like that. Powerups are something I want to add in the future. So we've got, so if you've ever played Cookie Clicker, by the way, this is where my idea came from. Cookie Clicker, you cook clickies. In this, I want to basically have a keyboard element to it. So I want to say you have to type on your keyboard, and when you're typing on your keyboard, it then will type the, it will basically be like you're coding. So as you're coding, it starts writing elements or something like that. So, but you can also buy power-ups from Cookie Clicker, which actually affect when you actually type or when you actually click. But upgrades are like other things, like you can buy interns or stuff like that. So we're going to have an array, and we're going to have two ones. We're going to have one which is an intern. And we're going to have an element in here called cost, and this is how much he costs in bytes. So we're going to say 50 for the intern. We're going to put an increase, so how much the cost goes up every time you buy a new intern. Then we're going to have a value, which is going to be 0.1. So this how much how much the intern earns currently. We're then going to set up a quantity, and the quantity will be 0 to start with, and unlocks at. So this what level you unlock it at, and this one's going to be 0. we're going to then add in the, so after the intern, we're going to have a junior developer. He's going to be cost 100, and he's going to go up in price by probably 1.2. So slightly more expensive, but he's going to be worth 0.5 again, and he unlocks at level 1. So you can't unlock it, you can't actually buy one of these until you've leveled up. So some things will come with levels, whereas other things you'll unlock by just paying from. And that is, finally, actually, I'm going to do this above power-ups. I'm going to say user or maybe player. Yeah, we'll call it player. And this is going to have some stuff. So we're going to have the level. Shall I do level? Level. And then we're going to have the next level. So this is bytes until the next level. So there's the total bytes you need to get to start with. Then this will just get increased, and we're going to give it an increased value of 3 maybe for now. So it means once you've leveled up your player once, your next level will be 100 times 3. So it'll be 300, etc. And it'll so forth, and it'll gradually grow, and it'll start getting harder to level up as you go along. And maybe we can make this changeable, so we can actually change this if we get to a certain point in the game to make it either easier or harder, depending on whichever one is best to do. So, actually I want to just remove that in there. We'll just have an empty power-ups array for now. This is something I'm thinking about in the future. So I'm actually going to set something up called, I'm going to set it right at the top, I'm going to call it const FPS, and I'm going to set equal to 1000 divided by 60. And that basically is just me calculating what the frame rate per second is going to be for our loop, which is going to be the 1000 or 1 second divided by 60, so 60 frames per second. It's the aim anyway. The next thing I want to get is the elements. I'm actually going to start commenting this. I'm going to say get elements, get core elements or main elements, and these ones are going to be const bytes L, and I'm going to just say document dot get element by ID, and it's going to be bytes. I'm then going to copy this and say BPS, which is going to be our bytes per second element. And for now, that is fine. I'm going to just put a comment up here saying setting, or actually buff this, which is going to be our settings. And then down here, we're going to have not a config, our save file. We're going to be saving this to local storage. In probably the next video, I think we'll set up local storage, and maybe we'll try and start implementing some power-ups as well. So, but for this video, we're going to stick to just the upgrades and starting off. So I'm going to set up a section here, which is actually going to be our event listeners. And in our event listeners, we're going to just for now say document.the main event listener of this whole thing is document.add event listener key press, and then we're going to say coding. We'll go for the standard case. So we're going to have coding, and then I'm going to say function coding is equal to save bytes plus plus. So we're going to upgrade our save bytes, and then we're going to say save dot total bytes is also equal to plus plus. So we need to actually, I'm going to set up another function before this called increase bytes. I'm going to quickly pass through the bytes we want to increase by, and then I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to say this is plus equal to bytes, and this also going to be plus equal to bytes, because basically so I'm going to call increase bytes in here, and I'm going to give it 1, because every key press is equal to 1, or now I'm thinking, because power-ups will change that. So maybe I need to think. We'll think about that when we come around to power-ups, because currently every time you press a key you get 1 point, but in the future I'm going to do it so you can buy a power-up or buy a new keyboard basically. So each key press will then be equal to maybe 1.5 bytes. So we're going to have to make this a value we can increase later on. But for now, that's fine. So next one is actually going to be setting up our setup or our render method. So I'm actually going to create another comment here, and I'm just going to say functions increase bytes. We're just going to say increase bytes value by X. So that's just going to say that, and then coding is actually ASCII type, so I don't think that needs commenting for now. So I'm just thinking of how we can then do the render method properly. All this stuff needs to be done properly. If I make any mistakes along the way, I will then rectify it in the next video. So I'm going to say render for now, and in the render function we actually need to, well, we want to get different elements, so we need to do render, so we're going to say render upgrades, so this is going to be the first part of the render method, and in here we're going to say const upgrades underscore L is equal to document dot get element by ID, and we're going to say upgrades. Hit save. Obviously you can't see anything happening over there, and also we've got a console open ready. Have we also added in? Yes, we have. So first thing we're actually going to do, which is going to be officially on screen, is actually display the upgrades. But we need to say upgrades L is equal to, or no, dot inner HTML is equal to nothing. And then we're going to say save dot upgrades, so the array we have up here of upgrades, dot for each. So we're going to say for each. Then we're going to pass through upgrade and I, because we want to get the index. We're going to basically run this function. Maybe we should turn it into a function. And it feels like if we're going to turn it into a function, we need to actually pull it fully from here. So maybe we say display buttons, display upgrades. Also, sorry, I did a capital R for render. I know people hate that. Display upgrades. So we're going to have another function which is going to have display upgrades, and this is that's how you do a function, Tyler. And in here we're actually going to pass through again the upgrade, and we're also going to pass through the upgrade and the index. I'm starting to think that maybe we should create a class to handle most of this stuff. We could have had a class with methods which just handled a render class. Would you call it a render class? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see what happens. So now in here, we're basically going to say, we need to actually check. So we're going to say if upgrade dot unlocks that. So if it's unlocks that, it's more than or equal to save dot use dot level. We want to say we're basically going to display the button. So we're going to say document dot create element. So we'll create a new button, and we're going to give the button a class of, and we're going to give it multiple classes. We're going to give it upgrade. Actually, for now, it just needs C button, and that's the only class we actually need. I'm going to say button dot inner text, and it's going to be equal to what you going to do it like this. We're going to say dollar upgrade dot name space, and then in brackets we're going to give it the price. So we're going to say upgrade dot cost. In the future, I'm probably going to break this down into like a table. So you have a button, and then you've got it's going to tell you what the bytes per second is for this, which will be 0.1 for the first one, and then the cost of it, and I think that's how we're going to work it in a table. But for now, we're just going to display it easily on screen. We're then going to say button dot add event listener, and we're going to give this click. And when you click on this, we're going to basically call a function called purchase, and the purchase is going to be the upgrade, and we're going to pass through the I. Maybe they should say purchase upgrade, which is nice. So we actually want to display this first, so we're just going to say upgrade. Actually, we're going to say upgrades element dot append child, and we're going to pass button. If we hit save, nothing should happen because we haven't called render yet. So I feel like, where would you call render? Probably at the end. And I'm just going to say render here. Can't root property of level. Save dot, player dot level. Upgrade cell is not defined. Oh, we defined it over here. So actually, saying that, we actually need to define this over here. No, because that's a for each method. We need to define this outside of this. So we need to go back up here to the main elements, define it up here, and then down here we actually just need to put this inside the render method because we need to, this basically clears list to prevent duplication. So now, as you can see, we've got intern there. That's a button. As you click it, purchase upgrade is not defined because we haven't done that yet. So that's good. Let's actually go style that. So in components, we're going to create a .c-button, and the button will be display inline block. We'll give it a padding of about 15 pixels, 25 pixels, a font size of like 20 pixels, a color of white, a background color of primary, and then a transition of 0.2 seconds linear. Again, if you guys want to add animations to this and stuff like that, go ahead. I'm all up for you guys doing your own input into this, and I might even set up a separate Discord channel on my server for people who want to get involved with it. Primary, and then 10%. So, and then we're going to actually set up a disabled class. So we're going to say a pointer events none, background color is going to be equal to darken. We'll darken the light by about 15%. So there we go, that's our button. As you can see, as we hover, or actually in our elements, let's give the button a default cursor of pointer. There we go. So that's good. Now in our main, we actually want to set something else up. So we want to say else if, and in here I'm just going to say upgrades. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to say upgrades.unlockSat -1 is equal to the player level. So if it's equal to the player level, we're going to say we're going to copy this. We're going to remove the click event, but we're going to add in another class, but this time off disabled. So as you can see, we've now got the junior developer button. It's there, but we can't actually click it. In the actual, I'm actually going to put B in this, just so you know it stands for bytes. But down here, we're not going to do cost. Instead, we're going to say unlocks at level, and we're going to say what is upgrade dot unlocks at, isn't it? So if we hit save, unlocks at level 1. I feel like maybe we can make that into a span or something in the future, so we can actually make it smaller, because I feel that's too big, especially if we're going to have it in this certain button. Maybe it'll be in the table, so this will be separate to that, but for now it can stay like that. Cool, so that's going to be our level. So we've actually got pretty much every element we really need in this. The next part, really the hardest part, is actually creating the game loop. So right now we can actually type, but nothing, you're not seeing anything happen yet. Nothing's being updated because we need to set up a game loop to update by our game per second. So we're going to set loop, and inside our loop we're going to say upgrades. We're going to create upgrades. We're going to create a function which is called upgrades. Actually, we're not going to use that yet though, but we're going to say bytes element dot inner text. We'll probably set this up into its own function. So I'm going to say math dot round, and we're going to do save dot bytes. So whatever our bytes are, we're actually going to upgrade that to that. We're then going to say bps l is going to be dot inner text, which is going to be equal to save dot bps dot to fixed, because we want it to only one decimal place. Hit save, and again, nothing's going to happen, but we're going to set up a loop now, and I'm basically just going to say, I'm going to actually create a new, sorry, my mouse was screen, I couldn't click. I'm going to say game loop, and in the game loop, I'm basically just going to set an interval for now, and it's going to be calling the loop, or sorry, we'll give it a loop. The loop that is called by our frames per second. So now as I type, you can see that goes up. So you can see that is now going up. And then we need to create a purchase upgrade function. So actually let's do that under display upgrade. We're going to do function purchase upgrade. And the purchase upgrade is going to take the upgrade and an index. And this is going to say if upgrade dot cost is less than or equal to save dot bytes, then we can run this function. Else we're going to say alert, you need more bytes. Keep on coding. We'll set up some proper alerts, like custom alerts. So now we're just going to say save.bytes is minus equal to upgrade.cost. We're then going to say save.upgrades, and then we're going to pass the index, or the I in this case. And then we're going to say dot quantity is plus because we're going to basically add one to it. Maybe in the future we'll do it so you can add multiple at a time. We'll say saves.upgrades I.cost is equal to math.round, and we're going to say upgrade.cost times upgrade.increase. And then we're just going to call render again. So every time we purchase a new upgrade, we're going to render it, because we need to re-render what's inside these buttons. We could set the render method to be calling every single loop frame, but I feel that's going to be a performance drag, and I don't really want to do that unless we really need to. I mean, it'd be easier, so everything that gets upgraded in the file would then update the screen, but we could do a method which like Vue.js and React uses, that is any value inside of here changes, then we re-render. But for now, we're just going to do it this way. So we've set purchase now, so we should be able to purchase, I think. So if we now get up to 50, well, let's try it without. So yep, keep on coding. If we get up to 50 and we click buy, that's lost us, and now we've got one. But now we need to set up the bytes. We need to set basically an upgrades function that is going to basically, it's basically going to set our bytes per second. So if we then create a function maybe above or below coding, because it's probably where it should be, we've got a function which could called upgrades. Again, this probably will need to be changed in the future. Actually, no, this needs to be called below our render method. Not below our render method, probably just there, here, this is good. And we're going to say save.bps equal to 0, because we want it to be equal to 0. But then we're going to say save.upgrades for each, and this time we're just going to say upgrade. And then here I'm just going to say save.bps is plus equal to, and I'm going to say upgrade.value times upgrade.quantity. So that is how we're going to work out our bytes per second. Now we need to do our bytes is plus equal to, and then we need to say upgrade.value value times upgrade.quantity, like we did before, but this time we need to define it by frames per second. And because so this one here is fine just to add it on, because this is actually our value here. Our values here, like 0.1, is actually our bytes per second for this. Maybe I should call it bytes per second in here, but it's our bytes per second for our upgrades. Because but if we was to call this here, we're going to call this 60 frames per second, because we want to put this in our loops. As you see here, I've called an upgrades, and that's going to call it 50 frame. That's going to call it 60 times per second, which we don't want. We actually want to divide it by that, so it's actually only values out to 1 frame per second. So if we now save .total bytes and say it's plus equal to upgrade, or we're basically literally the same. We just want to basically, actually this is where we need to use our new fancy method we called increase bytes, and then we need to pass through this bytes per second. So now if we was to, let's say, type out to 50 and we bought one and then we wait, you see we've got our bytes per second 0.1, so it means every 1 second now we're going to get every, so if that's 0.1, that means every 1 second we're going to get 1, because that's calling it 100 times per second. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense to me. Right, so now if we carried on typing, we can keep buying stuff, but we can't level up yet because it's not actually showing our level. So actually one thing I want to write in here is another span which is going to say, I think it's just going to say the span, so we'll say 100 bytes for now. And that's how many bytes we need to go down to level up. We'll think about UI later on. So we've done that. Now in our loop, we actually want to basically say, we'll set up a level handler as well later on. So we'll save.total bytes. If it's greater than or equal to save.player.next level. So if it's greater than or equal to, we're going to say save.player.level is going to plus, and we're going to say save.user.next level is going to be times equal to save.player.increase. Now if we hit save, as we type, nothing's actually going to happen right now. But if we buy this, that didn't go down. Oh, because I need to actually display it. So underneath this, we're going to say const level element is equal to document.get element by ID, and we're going to say level. I'm actually going to move this to the top here again. So the level element. I missed the semicolon. It was really going to annoy me if I carried on going. And now down here we can say level element dot inner text is equal to, and we're going to use templating strings. And we're just going to say save.player.level. We're then going to put in brackets, or we actually want to write out here level. Then we're going to put in brackets, we're going to say math.round because we don't want it to be a massive number. But we're going to say save.player.next level minus save.total bytes. And then after this, we're going to write bytes, I think. Hit save, and that shows that. So as we type, you can see they go down. And let's say we buy an intern. Actually, we bought one. Our current bytes went down, but actual our level bytes didn't go down. So if we carry on and we get down to next level of undefined, what did I do? Oh, I said I keep saying users because when I was testing this, I used the term user. Right, let's try this again. Let's get it all the way down time really quick. Tyler, come on, you've got this. So now that's 1. Now we need to actually re-render this. I think. Because I think we need to re-render it. Yeah, we will need to render again, right? Because in our render method, don't we have... Yes, no, we will need to re-render. So every time we level up, we'll need to re-render the page. So let's try that one more time. So that when we get that, we'll buy that. And we level up. We've re-rendered, but nothing happened. That's a flaw. Oh, it re-rendered there properly. Oh, we did the render method before we actually leveled up, so it's not actually going to change. So now if we try this one last time, I promise, one last time. Let's buy that while we're doing this. Get right down to... there you go. So now it automatically became available. So if now we saved up to 100, we could buy this, and that will get us our 0.6 per second. Now I just want to quickly say here, I want to quickly turn this into a template string. I want to cut that, turn that into a template string, put that input behind here, bytes. So that's how many bytes we have, and this one I also want to do the same. I'm going to cut that, put it into a template string, and say bytes per second. Save, and there you go. So if we go up to 50, so now we have 50 bytes. We've just used those bytes to buy an intern. The intern, we're going to also say how many interns we have and stuff. It'd be cool if we can visually display it somewhere too. But yeah, so right now our intern is making us some bytes, and this is how managers make their money. So you buy interns, then you'll buy some junior developers. You'll then buy some better people after junior developers. What, mid-weight developers? I don't know, web developers. And then we could buy back-end developers, and we can have all sorts of types of developers. We can have wild developers, and then they can earn us a lot of money. So guys, if you want to get involved with this game, go over to the link in the description at GitHub and basically make a fork it or do whatever, make some changes, mess around with it, have a go, make some fun changes, and then push it back or make a pull request, and then I will have a look at it, I'll check it out, I'll pull it, or I'll test the pull request, see if it works, make sure everything looks good, and then I will actually save, and I'll accept the pull request, or I'll decline it and give you a reason why. If I give you a reason why, it might be because maybe something doesn't work yet and I need you to fix it. I'm not going to fix other people's pull requests, I don't have time for that. So if there's like a small bug, even if it's just or maybe some styling errors or anything like that, then I'll just quickly pull it in the pull request and say, sorry, can you just fix that? And then you can make another pull request and then fix it. So guys, if you know how you can make this game better, then get involved. I really want to see you guys get involved. And then tomorrow, after this, tomorrow we will then go over and start adding in some more features. And if any people have made pull requests, we'll also review the pull request too. I think that would be a really cool video. So guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed it, because I really have enjoyed doing this one. I mean, visually it looks terrible, but you know, we're going to upgrade, guys. So thanks for watching this video, guys, and peace.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just want